The power of guided effort. Have you ever pushed yourself to exhaustion, only to find that nothing changed? Perhaps you dedicated countless hours to practice without seeing improvement, or followed every recommendation yet remained stuck in place. You might have wondered if success simply wasn't meant for you. Here's a truth many overlook: effort without proper direction is like using the wrong key on a lock. No matter how many times you turn it, the door stays closed. If you felt like you're struggling alone against impossible odds, this story will resonate with you. It's about someone who trained relentlessly yet failed repeatedly until one encounter changed everything. Daniel's struggle. In a mountain village lived Daniel, a 23-year-old driven by a singular dream: to become a skilled martial artist who could protect the defenseless. His motivation was deeply personal. His father, a simple farmer, had died when criminals attacked their village. Daniel, only 12 and untrained, could do nothing. That memory haunted him constantly. He made himself a solemn promise: he would become strong and never feel helpless again. For 3 years, Daniel trained alone in a forest clearing. Each morning before dawn, he struck a wooden post until his hands bled. He ran mountain trails carrying heavy stones. He performed endless push-ups until his muscles failed. Villagers noticed his dedication, yet they also noticed something troubling. Despite his extraordinary effort, he showed no improvement. 3 years of training, hundreds of hours of sweat and pain, and Daniel remained weak. When he sparred at the village training grounds, others defeated him easily. The techniques he'd practiced so diligently simply didn't work. His movements were awkward, his strikes powerless, his defenses full of gaps. Night after night, he returned home bruised and demoralized. He couldn't understand it. He worked harder than everyone else, woke earlier, trained longer, never surrendered. So why did he keep failing? His mother would find him sitting in darkness, staring at his scarred hands. "Maybe I'm just not talented," he would say. "Maybe some people are meant to be weak." She would reassure him gently, "You have a warrior's heart, my son. You simply haven't found your path yet." But after 3 years of effort producing no results, Daniel was losing faith in the value of hard work itself. The breaking point: when the village's annual martial arts demonstration arrived, Daniel saw it as his chance to prove himself. He'd prepared intensively, knowing his forms perfectly, having practiced thousands of strikes. This time would be different, he told himself. But when he stepped onto the platform, everything fell apart. His carefully practiced forms looked weak and awkward before the crowd. His movements were slow and rigid. He could hear the whispers: "Is he really that bad after 3 years? All that effort for nothing." Hard work doesn't matter without talent. During the sparring demonstration, a student with only 6 months of training defeated Daniel in 30 seconds. Humiliated before everyone he knew, he walked home alone in the rain, his uniform soaked and muddy. Sitting in his empty house, he cried for the first time in 3 years, not from pain, but from hopelessness. "I gave everything," he said to the silence. "I sacrificed sleep, endured pain, never quit. And it meant nothing." Looking at the scarred wooden post outside, marked by thousands of his strikes, he saw only wasted effort. That night, he decided to give up. Tomorrow, he would burn the training post and accept that his dream would never come true. The teacher appears. Before dawn, before Daniel could destroy the post, he heard someone in his training area. An elderly man, perhaps 70, stood examining the wooden post, running his fingers along the marks from Daniel's countless strikes. 3 years of effort, the old man said without turning. "I can see it in every mark. Dedication, persistence, pain." He turned to face Daniel. "But I also see something else. I see that you've been training alone, and that, young man, is why you remain weak." Daniel felt a flash of anger. "And who are you to judge me?" The old man smiled gently. "My name is Master Chen. I watched your demonstration yesterday. I saw someone with a warrior's heart but a child's technique. You work harder than students who defeat you easily. Do you know why they win and you lose?" "Because they have talent and I don't," Daniel replied bitterly. "No," Master Chen said firmly. "Because they have teachers and you don't. The lesson of force and technique. Master Chen walked to the training post and struck it once with his palm. The post, which had withstood Daniel's thousands of hits, cracked down the middle. Daniel stared in disbelief. "You've been hitting this post for 3 years with all your strength," Master Chen explained, "but you've been doing it wrong. Force without technique is merely wasted energy." He picked up a small stone and placed it on the ground, applying pressure slowly and precisely with his heel. The stone cracked perfectly in half. Then he struck another stone with his fist as hard as he could. His fist bounced off harmlessly, the stone remained intact. See the difference? The first stone broke because force was applied correctly, focused, precise, at the right angle. The second didn't break despite more force because that force was wasted. Master Chen looked directly at Daniel. "For 3 years, you've been like that second strike. You've given maximum effort with minimum understanding. You wake early but practice wrong techniques. You train for hours but repeat mistakes that make you weaker. You endure pain, but pain without progress is just suffering." He continued, "Hard work isn't enough. Hard work in the wrong direction makes you worse, not better. You become excellent at doing things incorrectly." Daniel felt something shift within him. For 3 years, he'd blamed his lack of talent. He'd never considered that his methods were wrong. "Can you teach me?" Daniel asked quietly. "The right way." Master Chen studied him carefully. "I can, but you must understand something first. Learning the right way is harder than training the wrong way, because you must first unlearn everything you've taught yourself. You must become a beginner again. Can your ego handle that?" Daniel dropped to his knees. "My ego has already been destroyed. I have nothing left to protect. Please teach me." "Then we begin now," Master Chen nodded. "And I promise you this. In 6 months of correct training, you'll surpass 3 years of incorrect effort, but only if you trust the process, even when it feels backward." The true training begins. The next morning, Daniel understood what the master meant. After his first strike, Master Chen stopped him. "Everything you just did was wrong." For the first week, Daniel wasn't allowed to strike anything. He only practiced standing, just standing, breathing, and finding his center. "Master, I've already trained for 3 years. Why am I learning to stand?" "Because a house built on a weak foundation will always collapse. We must build your foundation first." Week 2, learning to walk correctly, to shift weight properly. Week 3, breathing with his movements. Week 4, his first strike, completely different from the thousands he'd practiced alone. It felt weak, awkward, wrong. "Good," Master Chen said. "Now you're beginning to feel what correct technique is like. It feels strange because your body remembers the wrong way." Some days Daniel felt like he was regressing. The old wrong techniques felt more powerful than these new correct ones. He almost quit several times, but Master Chen would say, "Trust the process. The seed looks dead before it sprouts." The transformation. Month 3, something clicked. Daniel's new techniques suddenly felt natural. Students who used to defeat him easily now struggled against him. Month 4, his strikes had real power, not from more force, but from correctly applied force. 10% of the effort gave him double the results. Month 5, other students began asking Daniel to teach them. Those who had mocked him 6 months earlier now watched with respect. Month 6, Master Chen arranged a rematch with the student who defeated Daniel at the demonstration. This time, Daniel moved fluidly. Every strike was precise, every defense efficient. In less than a minute, his opponent surrendered, exhausted from fighting someone who wasted no energy. Afterward, the opponent approached Daniel. "How did you improve so much in 6 months? I've been training for 2 years and can't beat you." Daniel looked at Master Chen, who smiled knowingly. "The difference," Daniel said, "is that I spent 3 years learning what doesn't work and 6 months learning what does. Hard work only matters when you're working hard on the right things." The legacy. 2 years later, Daniel opened his own training school. Above the entrance, he carved words Master Chen had taught him. "Effort without guidance is like rowing without a compass. You may move, but you'll never reach your destination." The universal truth. Daniel's story reflects a universal experience. Here's what he learned, and what we all need to understand. Hard work is necessary but not sufficient. You can spend 10 years practicing piano incorrectly and never play beautifully, or spend 1 year with the right teacher and create music that moves people. You can run every day for months and injure yourself with poor form, or learn correct technique and become stronger with less effort. Remember 3 things. First, if you're working hard but not seeing results, the problem isn't your effort, it's your method. You need guidance, not more hours. Second, the right teacher isn't the one who pushes you harder. The right teacher corrects what you're doing wrong. Sometimes that means slowing down, starting over, or doing less rather than more. Third, there's no shame in needing help. The greatest masters in history all had teachers. Seeking guidance isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Your next step. Look at the area of your life where you're working hard but not improving. Maybe it's your career, your health, a skill you're learning, or your relationships. Ask yourself honestly, am I working hard in the wrong direction? Then find someone who has succeeded where you're struggling. A mentor, a coach, a teacher. Someone who can see what you can't because you're too close to your own efforts. Your hard work isn't wasted. Every hour you've invested has given you something valuable. It's shown you what doesn't work. Now you're ready to learn what does. The right teacher doesn't make you work harder. The right teacher makes your hard work finally matter. What area of your life needs the right teacher right now? Work hard, but work smart, and never be too proud to learn. The right teacher is waiting. Are you ready to find them?